So often I get asked, what is it that you need as a Star Wars fan to be happy? And to be honest with you guys, I think the answer might surprise you.
Red 3 standing by. Red 6 standing by. Red 9 standing by.
Red 2 standing by.
Red 11 standing by.
Red 5 standing by.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'd like to start today with a little bit of a roundtable discussion. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. What do you need from Star Wars to be happy? Because I'll be honest with you, the conversation that I'm seeing on the internet these days, it seems like nobody's happy. It doesn't matter what we get. It doesn't matter who it caters to. It doesn't matter if you like it or don't like it. Everybody's just mad at each other, and it seems like we haven't found any cohesive love in the Star Wars community in so much time. Why do you think that is? I certainly have my hypothesis as to what it could be. But in a post-sequel world, there are a lot of different fans who like a lot of different things about Star Wars. I know where my heart lies. You can tell by a lot of the different stuff behind me. I'm a big-time prequels kid. I love the prequels, and when I think about Star Wars, I think about the prequels. I think about lightsaber battles. I think about the Jedi and the Sith and the grand machinations of what would be the Empire. Now, I know for a lot of people, when they look, they see the original trilogy. Star Wars is Luke Skywalker. It is Darth Vader. That's the bottom line, no way around it, and that's what they want from Star Wars. And for me, personally, I'm going to be happy with either of those things. If they come out with content from either of those eras, I'm going to be a happy baby. I don't care. That's why I like Andor. I'm digging what they're doing with Andor because it has that original trilogy feel. We've got the OG Empire, TIE Fighters. We've got the ISB. Everything that just makes it feel like 1980s Star Wars, right? Then on the other side of the coin, we have Tales of the Jedi that just came out where we're getting some prequel content. We're seeing Dooku, we're seeing Qui-Gon, we're seeing more of that era that I really want to explore. So really, all I've seen from a sequel content standpoint that's come out is basically Lego specials.
It's where you belong.
But there's a much larger indicator than just what we're getting on Disney Plus, and that comes with the parks. I'm talking about the Halcyon Star Cruiser, one of my friend's favorite places.
You want to spend your holidays at the Galactic Star Cruiser? There it is.
And then just the parks themselves. I had the opportunity to go down and check out Galaxy's Edge, and let me tell you, and personally, I feel like this is indicative of a grander, larger ideal that's going on at Disney when it comes to Lucasfilm. The bottom line is they really want to push their content, but there's this disconnect that we're not seeing it at all in Disney, in the Disney Plus media category, but we're seeing a lot of it in the parks themselves. And so I've kind of devised this wish list. What do I need to be happy as a Star Wars fan? What could Lucasfilm do today that would make me a happy baby? Well, it boils into three simple things. Number one, straighten out the parks. A lot of us have been lifers for this franchise, and when you go to a Disney park and you want to spend money, what do you want to spend money on? The stuff that you like. And what's important to you? Well, it depends on when you were born. So the majority, I would say, of people who are big Star Wars fans that want to go to the park, they probably want to spend money on stuff that kind of reminds them of their childhood. It brings them back to that feeling of Star Wars when they were a kid. Now, I'm 31 years old. When I went down there, I didn't feel like a kid. I felt like a kid when I went to Avatar Land, believe it or not, more than anything else. I felt like a kid going back there. I was mostly just disappointed when I went to Galaxy's Edge. I did buy one lightsaber, the Luke, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty happy with it as a display piece. But boy, and well, don't get me started on sabers. We're not gonna talk sabers. But just walking through the shops, it just didn't really have the kind of feel, I don't know, that brought me into Star Wars. It was amazing seeing the Millennium Falcon. Obviously, it has the wrong radar dish on there.
I bypassed the compressor.
But it didn't really bring me where I needed to go as a fan. So, step one, straighten out your parks. Make it more inclusive. I can't even believe I just said T and PT kids out there that want to go relive their childhood, give them a little something, would you? Number two is the Disney Plus content. Now, they have released a slew of stuff from The Mandalorian. They're talking about Ahsoka coming up. They got Book of Boba Fett. Here's my problem with what's going on with Disney. Every time they create a show with what I consider to be a legacy character, I'm talking about Kenobi, Boba Fett, they seem to drop the ball so hard that it makes me not want to watch legacy character content. And that just, if you'd have told me that 10 years ago and we were talking about having a show with Kenobi, Hayden Christensen's going to come back, oh my God, my mind would have exploded out of the front of my forehead and I would have been running around the house, off the ceiling, jumping everywhere, stupid excited. I can tell that my demeanor has changed because when I heard Kenobi was coming out,
Shit.
now this could be total confirmation bias because obviously I've grown a community around myself. I've always hoped that we can share different opinions in my community, but it seems like a lot of the people that I talk to kind of feel the same way. Instead of being really excited when some of these shows are getting announced, it's like, oh bother, what's gonna happen? And that's not how we should feel as Star Wars fans. We should have that excited, bouncing off the ceilings, just pumped for stuff to come out. And I'll be 100% honest with you, I was feeling that way about Andor. I was really excited for the show to come out for a couple different reasons. I'm enjoying the way that they're telling the story in the show. It's a lot darker, it's a lot more mature. It's definitely more of an adult show, really, which I'm happy about. And I understand that a lot of people say Star Wars is for kids. Bruh. We can have a conversation about whether or not Star Wars is for kids. I'm going to disagree heartily. I think kids can enjoy it. I don't think it's written specifically for kids. And so Andor might not land with a younger audience. I think it's doing a lot better than a lot of people think with an older audience if they're watching the show. So my wish, my request for the perfect Disney Plus content is to give us some legacy characters. Give us some stories from the original trilogy era. Give us some stories from the prequel trilogy area and make them a little bit more adult, make them a little bit more serious. I know that Star Wars has always had an aspect of humor in it, and you can have that in an adult story. I know, Disney, if you're watching, you can have both. And that brings me on to my last point, my final point, number 3, movies. Where the are the movies? I understand it's entirely possible that they're a little gun shy about dropping God knows how much money on a Star Wars movie, and rightfully so. The sequel trilogy left a lot of people in a very bad place when it came to movies, and then when Solo came out, it left a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths too. Now I understand a lot of people like Solo. Again, for me, that was just one that really didn't capture the magic of Star Wars, and it's tough. I'm saying it, it's tough when you have a legacy character, especially like Han Solo, especially like Lando Calrissian, to recast and get that done. But the bottom line is, we have gotten nothing for the big screen. We've gotten nothing. There's no, I mean, we've had talks about movies coming out and then they're shelved and then they're project. You have to dig through the frickin' dark web just to be able to get a hint of an idea of maybe what somebody's doing. Is Rian Johnson making a trilogy? I don't know. What's the secret movie everybody's talking about in Star Wars? Nobody has any idea. And honestly, is there some concrete information out there? Yeah, but guess what? It's going to change in 2 weeks anyways, so it doesn't even matter. So, in my ideal world, why don't we get a plan together for a couple movies, get them outlined, and try to tell an original story? That's so much to ask. So at least for me, if those 3 things got handled, I would be a much happier Star Wars fan. I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm just ranting into a camera for absolutely no reason whatsoever, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think. What 3 things would you change in order to make you a happier Star Wars fan? Let me know them in the comments, and then I will see you guys on the next one.